Hi, everybody, and welcome to week 4. I hope everybody had a great week 3. I apologize for not making a video sooner. As you can see, my office is still under construction, as I've discussed in some of my emails to you about trying to get you source information. We do look like we're getting there. The bookshelves are, for the most part, up and filled. Still have the TV to mount and everything like that, but we are in much better shape than we were. So normally I apologize again. Normally I do a weekly video to go along with the weekly letter, but there was just nowhere quality wise to record it that would have looked anything less than a mess. And you can still see it is still kind of a mess. Um, just so you know, I hope everybody's having a good week. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Our weekend here was, it was cold. First real cold weekend of what I would consider to be the winter. I know it's not officially winter yet, but obviously, winter is here. Um, as we enter week 4, please remember that this is the beginning of the halfway mark. So if you are doing well, congratulations, keep up the good work. If you're not doing well, reach out to me. I will be reaching out to everybody this week to check on everybody, make sure everybody's doing okay. I will be sending out midterm letters to those people who are not doing well, asking if there's anything I can help them to do better, and also giving advice on how to bring their grades up. Last week we discussed the war from 1915 to 1917 and the suffering that went on both in the military and the civilian populations. This week we're going to look at the beginning of the end for World War I. We're going to look at the war in 1917 and 1918, and I believe including in that we will also be looking at the Russian revolutions. Please remember that there are 2 Russian revolutions. I will be discussing the Russian revolutions in another video in detail, and that the Russian revolutions are pretty much the catalyst for many of the major problems we will have in the 20th and 21st century. As a matter of fact, without World War I, there's no Russian Revolution, or at least not in the form that it happened. Without that Russian Revolution, there is no Soviet Union. There is no World War II. At least there is no alliance during World War II that will eventually go south and create the Cold War and lead all through all the problems we have today. World War I, as I said, is a watershed moment in human history, and you can see that really through the Russian Revolution. Now, this week we will explore Learning Module 4, The End Arrives. This unit is due on Sunday, November 24th. That's this Sunday coming up at 11:59 p.m. or the end of the day local time. After the unit, you should be able to answer 2 very important questions. First, what is the impact of the Russian Revolution on the course of World War I? This is going to be a huge event when it comes to the ending of World War I. And the second thing is uncover some of the causes of the war's end. As part of this, your assignments this week are first to read Chapter 7 and Chapter 8. Read Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 in the textbook, and then you will do 4-1 destabilization. Please remember that you must do 3 posts. The initial post is due on Thursday, November 21st. That is where you respond to the question that's posed in the discussion board. The other 2 posts are your responses to your classmates. These are due by Sunday, November 24th. Please remember that you are always welcome to post more than 3 submissions. You are always welcome to respond to my questions. As a matter of fact, I prefer you respond to my questions. But that the only thing you are going to be graded on is the responses to your classmates. They say, well, then why should I respond to you? It's important you respond to me because sometimes when I'm asking follow-up questions, it's to get you to comment more on your initial post, to give me more of something, to maybe get a different opinion from you so you can see both sides of the situation. When you respond to me, it almost always means you're going to get higher marks in the initial post because you are covering every aspect of what I'm looking for. So again, you don't have to respond to me. You're not graded on that per se, but if you are missing something, I encourage you to expand on it, and you don't, well, then you may see some points lost. Also, remember to use follow-up questions and comments if you're trying to do a back and forth. This is a collaborative learning experience. We want you guys to learn from each other as much as you're going to learn from, say, me. The third assignment that's due this week is the 4-2 analysis paper number 1. Analysis paper number 2. The analysis paper number 1s, I was very impressed with the majority of them. Many of you did very, very well. Many of you did good, but you could have done a little more analysis. Please remember that this is not a research paper. This is not a position paper. This is an analysis paper, meaning you should find a primary source that answers the question the way you want it to be answered. And then using other primary and secondary sources, you should analyze and evaluate the primary source. So a lot of this assignment is pointing out things positive and negative with the source itself. This can be done in black and white. This can be done inherently. But, say if you're looking at Wilhelm II and you're talking about his leadership skills and you're using his speeches, obviously you'll want to use secondary sources and primary sources that can try to prove him right. But you're obviously also going to have to bring up that many of these have biases, especially if you're looking at writings from Wilhelm II, whether you're using his diary or his speeches. He's obviously going to be more positive in his aspect and his interpretation of the war and his leadership than others will be. So keep that in mind. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, just make sure that you're getting the discussion boards done by the time frame. You already know that. We went over that. Also, that if you need extra time to submit assignments, except for maybe the discussion boards, you have up to a week late under the COCE late policy. If you have an extenuating circumstance, I can waive the 10% penalty, but you have to let me know of the circumstance. And in the text box where you submit the file, there's a little text box there for comments. Just comment the reason why and that you talk to me, and I will waive the penalty. Another thing is you have to make sure that any final assignments, like the papers and stuff, at the very, very end, you're talking about Module 7 and Module 8, are due on the very, very last day of the semester. There is no extension on that unless you take an incomplete. So just keep that in mind. That is the late policy as of this semester, 19EW2. So if you have any questions on any of that, just let me know. Okay, guys, well, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. Everybody's been doing good so far. s.edler@snhu.edu. Or if you just need a little bit of guidance, you can always go to the assignment guidelines and rubric area of the assignment. That can give you a lot of times the answer to what you need. Obviously, of course, if you're confused or you need help, just email me, let me know, and I'm happy to help you guys. Okay. Hope you guys have a great week 4. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. And if not, we will see you at week 5.